I'm Hassan Hassani, and I'm a teacher at Common State. Today's lessons, I'm going to try to teach you how to multiply and divide integers. To multiply and divide integers, there is a small difference between multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. The first thing I want you to know, the basic rule in multiplication of integers. So what I do, I just write the basic one. When multiplying, or when you're multiplying integers, if you have this, the signs are the same, the outcome is always positive. If the signs are the same, so the signs are both negative or both positive, the outcome is going to be positive. If the signs are different, like a negative and a positive and negative, the outcome is always going to be negative. This is, I'm talking about multiplication of two integers. If you have more than two, you just do two at a time. For example, let me do an example for each one of them. For the first one, let's say you have negative 2 times negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 4 will become positive 8 because remember we just talked about that when you're multiplying. How do you know it's multiplication? Whenever you have two parentheses with no sign in between, that's telling you that you are multiplying. Or read the instruction will say multiplication. And when they are, so if I had positive 2 times 4, remember there's an understood positive here and understood positive here. The outcome again is going to be 8. You can also write positive 8 if you want to. Both mean the same thing. So if you write 8 with no sign in front of it, that would convey the message that it's positive 8. If it was negative 8, then I have to negative 8 has to be there. And if their signs are different, if you have one negative and one positive, the outcome is always be negative. Notice I said when you're multiplying, let me fix this one. When multiplying, if the signs are different, the outcome is always negative. So here, because I'm multiplying and the signs are different, so my outcome is going to be negative. If I had positive 2 times negative 4, the outcome is still going to be negative. The opposite of addition and subtraction in multiplication, it doesn't make any difference which number is larger or smaller. If one is negative, one is positive, the outcome is always negative. If the signs are the same, the outcome is always positive. So this is saying two things, two elements at a time. But if I happen to have more than two, I can convert it to one of these first. For example, let's say you have negative 2 times negative 4 times negative 5. The first thing I do, I multiply 2 at a time, see, to make sure that I use these rules. Two negatives, I already know the outcome is going to be positive. So I'll be positive 8. And then I haven't used the negative 5 yet, so I bring my negative 5 down. So then now I have this case. Positive times negative, the outcome is going to be negative. So positive 8 times negative 5, the outside is going to be negative 40. So notice that if I had 10 of them in a row, all I need to do, I need to multiply 2 at a time and reduce it to be able to use these rules. So that's what the rule for multiplication. The rule for division are very similar to the rule for multiplication. Let me do them next to it so you see, you can compare them. When you're dividing a negative by a negative, or a positive by a positive, the outcome is always going to be positive. And when they are different in sign, the outcome is going to be negative. Notice the similarity. When the signs are the same, the outcome is always positive. When the signs are different, the outcome is negative. Again, it doesn't make any difference which one is negative, which one is positive. As long as they are different, the outcome is going to be negative. Let me do a few examples for those for division for you. Division of integers. I just finished multiplying the integer. Now I'm going to divide the integer for you. So let's say you have negative 10 divided by negative 2. Let's see, negative 10 divided by negative 2. See, here I'm using this case, two negatives, right? So the outcome is going to be positive. So 2 will go into 10 5 times. How would you check your work? You can also check your work. If you multiply positive 5 times negative 2, you see you get negative 10. So what about if I had positive 10? I don't have to write the positive sign, but just to make it for clarity, I'll go ahead and write it down. Positive 10 divided by 2 is 5, or positive 5, because 5 times 2 give you 10, right? And if the signs are different, let's say you have negative 10 divided by positive 2, I write the positive. You don't have to write the positive there, but I write it for clarity. Then the outcome is going to be negative 5. Again, you can check yourself because negative 5 times positive 2 is negative 10. Notice that I'm using the multiplication rule when I'm doing division, so they are like interchangeable. So. And if you have positive 10 divided by negative 2, the answer will be negative 5. Because negative 5 times negative 2 will give you positive 10, right? When you're doing division, a couple of things you have to be very careful. One of them that is very common is 0 division by 0 by, let's say you have 0 divided by 4. 0 divided by 4 is the same thing as saying you have $0 and you want to divide it between 4 people. Then each one is going to get 0, right? So that's easy. But if it was the other way around, now you have to be careful. When you division by 0 is not possible. Because notice here when I did divide negative 10 by negative 2, I got 5. That means I got something that if I multiply it back by this number, I get this back. But here, there is no number in the world that if I multiply back by 0, I end up with positive 4. So division by 0 is undefined. So you cannot divide by 0. So you write undefined next to it. Notice I didn't even write equal to, because just for short abbreviation, I just write undefined. Because there is nothing here I can write that multiply by 0 will get 4. But here I can. See, 0 times 4 is 0. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 5 times 2 is positive 10. So that's why division by 0 is not possible. We'll do one or two more problems, and let's do a combination of them. So let's say 10 divided by negative 2. Remember, for simplicity, if you want to, if it's obvious to you that this is understood to be positive 10, leave it there. But if you want to, you can also put plus 10 multiplied by negative 2. See, this is optional to put the plus there or not. If you want to put it there, it's fine. If it makes it clearer for you, go ahead and put it there. But you don't have to have it, because if the sign is not there, it's understood to be positive. So that will be negative 20. Let me do the same thing, but this time I do division. 10 divided by negative 2. Notice I use the same rule for sign rule. When you divide the opposite sign, the outcome is always going to be negative, right? Because negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10, right? But multiplication is 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. The next section we're going to talk about is the order of operation.